Welcome back, guys, to another video. I have Ryan here, one of our top coaches at the Recruiter School, giving you more and more value. So in this video, we want to basically share our own personal knowledge on what we think top recruiters in general have in common. This is meant to be more of like a general video. So of course, we're not going to be able to cover everything, but these are some of the big things that definitely come to mind. So real quick, Ryan, what are your thoughts before getting into it?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one because it's a mixture of some tactical things, also some more higher level approach conversations. So I think it's going to be a good one.
Perfect. Number one, relationship focused. You build trust with clients and candidates. And this is so important, guys. When you come into recruiting, it's so easy to think of it as a business, as money, as numbers, but it is absolutely the core of it is relationships with candidates and clients. If you can develop a strong relationship, you should do it. If you can go out of your way to meet people the OG way in person, to spend lunch with them, dinner, drinks, coffee, I promise you it will go a long way. I can't tell you how many clients that we've met from day one we're still working with right now. I can't tell you how many candidates from day one still keep in touch with me. And candidates can also introduce you to other candidates and also other clients. Never ever underestimate the power of relationships. What about the two other points, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just kind of underscore what you said there. It's a people business, absolutely, all day long. And we can sit here and chat about the fancy, latest, greatest, AI tools and functionalities that are out there. But at the end of the day, the business is about talking to people and solving people's problems. And so a great way to build those relationships is, as you mentioned, is to network constantly. And whether that's in person, like you said, which I think is great, there's also ways to do that online, virtually. There's a lot of Zoom networking events, or just even posting more or commenting on LinkedIn is a great way to do it as well. So just being able to expand your network is going to be helpful, not only now, but down the line, because everyone's a potential candidate, everyone's a potential client. And so even if you just meet someone today, who knows, 6 months from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, they might be hiring and remember, oh, yeah, that's right, I spoke to Preston at that one event way back when. Let me reach out to him. And so you never know when that's going to happen. And so it's always best to put your best foot forward and always be looking to grow your own network online and in person. And I think that also leads to just a long-term focus, because with this business, as with any business, it's really easy to think, oh, well, what can I do to get this quick win now? How do I get money in the door today, yesterday, tomorrow? You're not just going to win right now making a placement. You're going to win for the next 10 years when they keep coming back to you for more and more business.
Are you struggling with getting responses from clients? Are you an established recruiter who is struggling to break six figures and beyond? Are you looking to start recruiting part-time and you don't know how? Do you feel burned out and stuck spending hours and hours each day in manual tasks like sourcing and outreaching, and feeling like you have no time to actually run and grow your business? I am absolutely happy to announce that we have launched our own recruitment, educational, and coaching program to help you on your journey. We made sure that everything I've learned in the past 10 years, the tips, the strategies that really helped me build multiple seven figures of placements on my own desk with some of the best companies in the world, will be included in there. We'll also be including things like how you can build an acquisition system that brings in clients every month to your agency hands-free, how you can maximize the probability of a positive close during negotiations, how you can automate and outsource your day-to-day operations so that you don't have to spend hours per day researching or sourcing, how you can figure out the new and modern way to scale your agency that minimizes risk and maximize your upside potential. And we've also included much more. The best thing about this is not only will you be getting amazing content, but we will also handhold you and be with you every step of the way to make sure that you are held accountable and you crush your goals. We'll also share with you our own tech stack, tools and plugins we actually use, plus everything else we know about automation and AI to help you save time, work smarter, and not be a slave to your business. The exciting news is that we've actually rolled this out to a select few people earlier this year, and I'm excited to see them well on the way to multiple six figures, with some breaking $30,000 to $50,000 per month already. So if you're interested to be a successful recruiter that can dominate in any market conditions, make sure you click on the link below to chat with another member of our team, and we're happy to chat with you to see if we can help you out. Make sure you jump on this really quickly. See you on the other side.
But if you really think more long-term, that's going to pay out dividends, because you don't want to burn any bridges, right? If you build these long-term relationships and you have long-term clients, you're not just going to win right now making a placement. You're going to win for the next 10 years when they keep coming back to you for more and more business. Same with candidates. I know a number of candidates we've placed at multiple companies throughout their career. So it's never just a one and done, place them and then see you later type situation. If you be intentional about building these long-term relationships, then you're going to have business coming to your door years and years down the line.
Sure. It's all about not doing shortcuts, planting the seeds, and just a great way to kind of end this slide, guys, is you can still be extremely successful. You can still be profitable, make a lot of money for yourself yourself, if you do things manually, have good fundamentals with a focus on relationships. As much as we all want to talk about AI and automation, stuff like that, that has a time and place. And I think that's really, really necessary in the modern day business in 2025 moving forward. But don't let that also further discount the power of relationships. I think as more people are going virtual, as more people are talking to people through screens, the people that can continue to talk to actual people face to face, they're the ones that are going to have a secret edge that all these other virtual guys are not going to have. So especially if you're a recruiter in a local market, you have an agency in your that's targeting your local state or market, make the effort, get in your car, get in that subway, meet people for lunch and dinner and drinks. And if that doesn't convert to something substantial now, you are planting the seeds for that long term where they're going to remember you way more at a bunch of cold calls and emails that they get on a day-to-day basis. So do things properly, build things for the long term. We're here to make money, build a business, but not just for the short term, but for long term, a business that has legs built on true relationships. The second point that we want to go over is prioritization. This is super, super key. So when you come into recruiting, whether you are a solo recruiter or a full desk recruiter or even a 180, you're going to have to juggle so many things, right? And you're going to feel like you're like a boat with no sail being pushed around in all directions by the waves, by the winds, and by the fish. You're like, oh my God, maybe I should do this today. Oh my God, wow, this is happening. Maybe I should talk to this candidate. Maybe I should talk to that client. You have to be able to be organized, and you have to be able to, most importantly, stay on top of your time management. So top recruiters, they really focus on high priority tasks to maximize their efficiency and results. It's very easy to just be busy and not accomplish anything, right? You have to be able to have absolute clarity on what tasks you want to be able to focus on that day that will have the highest chance of really pushing the needle of your desk and business forward. If it doesn't do that, you are simply being very inefficient and wasting your time on secondary tasks you should have done earlier in the morning or in the weekends or later in the evening. So our biggest recommendation is you got to be on top of your time management. As a solo full desk recruiter, you are juggling clients, candidates, interviews, processes, and offers and things like that. Our biggest suggestion is just time blocking, making the lines very clear. In the morning, first thing you do, address any important fires or emergency situations, then have a block of time specifically focused on client acquisition, generating that new business. The second half of the day, focus on candidate stuff. End of the day, submitting, qualifying, end of the day fires as well. And by doing that and sticking with a clear plan of action, guys, it makes things a lot clearer. Instead of being like, oh my God, I'm going to do clients now, and then a client 10-minute break when I have lunch. And whenever in between my candidate calls, you're just going to be moving a lot slower, and your poor brain is just going to be going into overdrive. So be on top of your time management.
Absolutely. And I think the best way to do that is to be serious about your prioritization, because when you're getting all these emails, calls left and right, everything's going to sound and feel urgent. It's going to sound like the world's going to end if you don't respond to this one email right now. But as you know, that's really not the case. And so you really got to think through what is going to make the biggest impact on my business today, right now, in the next hour. And so maybe, you can't reply to that candidate for another 30 minutes, another hour, 2 hours. Is that ideal? No. But if that lets you or frees you up to do something that is more higher impact, then absolutely that should be your focus. And so just trying to almost audit your desk every day to figure out what is absolute must for me today. What can I not finish my day without completing? And what are some things that the world wouldn't end if I had to finish or get to tomorrow? And so just being able to understand what is the most important to you and your business is really going to help you do that. And for everyone, it's going to be a little bit different, whether you're a full desk recruiter or whether you have a team under you, or if you're a 180 recruiter, your priorities are going to be different. So you got to understand, what are my metrics? What gets me the most impact from my role, whether that's more revenue, more roles, more candidates, whatnot, and figure out what steps are absolutely non-negotiable that have to be done today, and what can maybe fall off to the wayside to get to in the evening or get to tomorrow. So just be able to understand what is a must for me and what is not a must, and then take action on those. And so with that kind of also talks about avoiding distractions, because it is really easy to go down these rabbit holes. Oh wait, I got to talk to this one person. Then you're talking to them for 20 minutes when you really need to be doing something else. Or, oh, I got this one email. Now I'm just going to be worried about this one email for the next 15 minutes when I know I should be making cold calls, or whatever the situation is. It's really easy to get distracted. And so it's really all about having that mindset in the back of your mind of, okay, whatever I'm doing, if I get distracted, pause, let me refocus. If I catch myself doing something else, pause, refocus. And so no one's perfect at it. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort, and you will get better at it over time. But just being able to notice when you're doing something that's not the most pressing and something that's not high priority, and be able to put that down and then focus on what is going to make a bigger impact on your day.
Super important, guys. Very, very important. I think ultimately the biggest takeaway here is just have a lot of value for your own time every minute, every hour, especially within a standard business workday. Focus on things that actually matter. We talked to this one guy last week, and he was like, hey, I have trouble getting new clients. But then I'm like, what are you doing each day? He's like, I'm focusing each day on candidates. I'm like, why? So a lot of times it's common sense, but I guess sometimes it takes like another third party. Sometimes it's very easy to be in the weeds and focus on things that you think you should be focusing on. But sometimes you need another voice out on your shoulder to be like, why are you doing what you're doing? You should just not do any candidate stuff. You should be focusing all of your stuff on clients. So if you need clients, focus on that. If you have clients, then you can focus a little bit more on fulfillment with the candidate side and balance it out. But again, use common sense here, guys. But the most important thing is with me, I am super protective of my time. I want to make sure every hour, every minute is focused on a meeting, a call, an activity that pushes our desk or the business forward. And if it isn't, I will just simply relegate it to either the early morning or the evenings or the weekends or whatever, where I can kind of go back to it, right? So be on top of your time. And as a self-employed person, you don't have a boss telling you what to do. I would highly recommend time blocking or similar practice to that to help you organize and manage everything appropriately. What about this third one, Ryan? Always learning mindset.
Yeah, this is a big one because I know we've talked to a number of recruiters who come to us and say, I've been recruiting for 20 years, 25 years, and I'm just not as successful as what I used to be. And so we kind of ask them, like, what's your day-to-day look like? And they're like, I use a phone book, or, maybe not as much now, but they just have the same old approach they've taken for the past 20 years. And not to say that some of those older techniques don't work, but to really stick out in the crowd from the hundreds of other recruiters that you're competing against, you do really have to always have this mindset of a perpetual student. You're never at the peak. You never know everything. Not either, us two, we never claim to know everything there is to know about recruiting. And so it's so crucial to always be thinking, what can I do better? Where can I improve? What is an area I don't know too much about that would be helpful for me? And just to attack those very directly. And so that means not only in recruiting, like what are the latest and greatest recruiting strategies and tools, but also within your industry. Let's say you recruit in, supply chain for CPG companies, and really what's the latest that's going on here? What are some of the industry trends? What are some of the largest companies in this area doing and saying? And how does that impact my desk, my candidates, my clients? And just being a one step ahead of the curve so that you can really be proactive to any upcoming changes as opposed to reacting. You never want to be in a situation where you wake up one day and something happens where, oh, now you got to scramble and react to it. You want that to be a situation where you saw that coming, and so you've been planning for it for months and months and months. So always being able to stay on track of the latest news, strategies, tools, and also your own skill set. What areas are there that you could be stronger in? What areas are you a little weak in? What can you do to get you to a place where you're a better recruiter than you were yesterday?
Guys, to put it bluntly, if you're not growing, you're dying. And not just like physically, I'm talking about like your career and your business, right? You have to constantly balance your recruiter hat with your business CEO hat. We are responsible of making the right decisions for a desk at any given time. If your desk and business does well, you get praise. But if it doesn't go well, you need to be held accountable that you're not making the right decisions, that you are not pushing yourself to adapt to the changing times. Times are changing, and this is not just specifically in recruitment, in all lines of work, especially with technology and AI coming into the picture more and more. One of the reasons why I continue to stay alive is I never told myself, regardless of like how much I'm billing, that I'm perfect, right? Because as soon as you do that, you are going to put like a cap on your performance, and you think you made it to the top. And I always, and if you've been following me for a long time, or even just me personally, I always do whatever I can to constantly learn and understand there are more resources, more people out there that are doing things better than me, faster than me, or just areas where I'm just super weak and that I need to kind of focus on. So I am a perennial student. I constantly learn and try to test new things all the time. And I think that's one of the most understated things, aside from client acquisition and AI and automation, that allowed me to still be relevant and functioning and operating profitably today. Like we're always adapting, and we're always like pushing the boundaries. And it's also a lot of fun too, with AI and automation helping us do our jobs better. Instead of, imagine like recruiting without AI and automation, like it was a grind. So I think people that come in now, I'm not saying you have it easier, but if you do want to build a business for the next 3, 5, 20 years, we have to kind of put that student hat on and never take it off. And as things just are going like a billion miles an hour, right? And you have to constantly keep up with the times. If not, your business will probably start plateauing and going down. So Ryan, summarized the slide perfectly, guys. To us, we really don't, we give respect where it's due. Like, awesome. You've been recruiting for 30, 20, 15 years. Awesome. But the real metric is like, how are you actually doing? Are you doing well? Or are you kind of like a sinking ship, right? And if not, most of it is probably like you're just not spending or caring or thinking there's enough value in putting in the effort to learn how to get your business right on the right track. Or maybe you're just completely like ignoring all the changes in your specific industry too. So bottom line, you have to learn and keep tabs steps and keep on the pulse with everything so that you can make the best decisions continually moving forward for your business.
100%.
Guys, this next slide, I love it. Emotional management. So now almost recruiting for about 10 years, especially in a career path like recruiting, which is very sales, where it's like you just have to be go, 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 attack, be your best every day. One of the things that people don't really talk about is you just got to take care of yourself, right? And that's why, like, as I get older, as I go further in my career, I pay more attention to things like now, wow, better nutrition, better sleep, like things that make me feel on the top of my game every single day, because I want to give it my all on the field every day in the trenches with Ryan, with the team, regardless of how long I've been doing this, how old I'm getting, blah, 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 blah. So I think if you can't take care of yourself, you're going to start eventually neglecting your work. You're going to be performing at 90%, 80%, 70%. You go out partying every single night. Man, I mean, even just doing a regular part-time job hungover is a grind, not to mention a full-time job that goes 60 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, like recruiting, where you have to be on your A game every single day. So I think a lot of the emotional stuff will kind of is just as important as well. The wellness stuff, I got a little bit carried away. That's actually the next slide, but emotional is also super important too. It's all psychological, guys. And I think the reason why I kind of got ahead of myself, talking about wellness, it comes in hand to hand, guys. Like you got to take care of your body, you got to take care of your mind, but let's focus more on mind right now. So Ryan, what about like handling rejection and client pressure and all that stuff? Did you also want to add this slide?
Absolutely. Yeah. The reason you need to have that wellness part in check is because this job's going to throw a lot at you. Now, you're going to have some highs, you're going to have some wins, but you're going to have more no's, you're going to have some more low points. And so being able to withstand some of the heat that you're going to face in this role is huge because, you know, there's no linear path in recruiting. It's not like every day you get one more client, one more deal, one more candidate. You're going to have some great days, you're going to have some not so great days. And so just being able to roll with those punches is going to be crucial to your success in recruiting. You know, you're going to get a lot of no's from clients, many no's. You're going to get a lot of no's from candidates, and you're going to have interviews that, you know, derail halfway through. And, you know, we do what we can to mitigate those situations, but at a certain point, you got to accept it, right? You know, things aren't going to always go your way. And so the decision and the question is up to you. Like, are you going to come back and keep going the next day, or are you going to throw in the towel? And so just being able to build that emotional resilience is going to be, I wouldn't even say important, it's necessary, it's crucial to being able to find success in recruiting. So just being able to get hit and stand back up, it's not easy, it's not fun, but it's what you got to do to be able to find success within recruiting.
You got to manage the ups and downs. You got to manage the spikes, and you got to manage and take care of yourself during the tough times, right? And I think you almost kind of want to intentionally try to be a little bit more robotic with your emotions. When you get a placement done, amazing, celebrate, obviously, but don't get ahead of yourself. Don't blow all your cash, right? Same thing when things are going tough. Don't get super depressed and don't start giving up. Like you got to be even keeled, be robotic, show up and do the same thing over and over again. In recruiting, it's very simple, guys. We like to overcomplicate it, but it's get clients, get candidates, put it together, submit, interviews, offer, done. Like that's literally is it. Anything else on top of that or outside of it is there just to overcomplicate things. So stick with the basics and do your best to detach yourself from the outcome as much as possible. If you put in the work every day, like clockwork, be a robot, be consistent, right? Your work will automatically compound and start taking care of yourself, right? And start taking care of you, but also itself as well. So I think being a freelancer, especially like being a solo recruiter, starting a business, I talk about this time and time again, the stress, it just never goes away, right? Even when you're having an amazing month, an amazing day, an amazing week, you still have stress there. I think stress is just a constant, right? And so like, I think the stress makes it easier for people to kind of go off the rails on both spectrums. Like, oh my God, my life is saved. Like, hallelujah, we did like 3 placements today, or we didn't do any placements in 2 months. Like life is doomed. Like I'm going to have to sell or quit everything, right? So I think like, as long as you show up, guys, and as long as you do what you have to do each day, everything will be okay. But there will be constant stress, constant pressure, and just understand that when it comes, just manage it. Don't have to catastrophize it immediately, and just make sure that you keep taking that step forward. You know, entrepreneur business is a long-term game. It's not a sprint, guys. It's a marathon, as cliche as it sounds. And just be consistent day in, day out, and be aware, number one, of your emotions, and number two, be able to kind of manage it appropriately as things kind of come across. You will have tough months. You will have tough years. You will have amazing months. You will have amazing years. Can you have like amazing back-to-back months in the beginning or even the middle, or even someone experiences me? Probably not, right? But we just learn how to manage things better. We know how to identify patterns or see the writing on the wall where we can make the appropriate preparations now to mitigate any setbacks that happen or difficult periods, or, you know, we know where to invest to make sure like, hey, if our client acquisition game is slowing down, we can obviously put more investment or focus on that so it continues to kind of ramp up and deliver consistent leads to us. us, which will hopefully lead to more consistent revenue and placements and all that stuff to make sure that you have more of a stable year ahead, right? So we have the power to make the right decisions of our future, but a lot of it is only, I think, able to kind of basically happen if you are, first of all, aware of just things, your business, your landscape, present and future, but also how you're feeling in general and making sure it's stable. So again, just to end this off, wellness management, guys, I think it's super, super important to take care of yourself, especially if you are looking to start a business, be a solo recruiter for the long term. It is a lot. Every day I'm exhausted, right? So we got to do what we can, look into, good sources of caffeine, make sure you eat well, like treat this like a professional sport, make sure you sleep well. Like that's something I'm taking so much more seriously the longer I do this, and just make sure you're just in a good environment where you can really focus. I just basically came back from a travel for a week, and as much as traveling is fun, you have to work out of hotels with spotty Wi-Fi, or you have to go to a co-working space. It just changes the flow, and you're just consuming things that you normally wouldn't. You're just overall with less fatigue, which makes it harder to even perform each day. And so I'm just happy to be back at home, back in my routine. And I think before I give it to Ryan, that just segues to my last point. It's so helpful to have a routine. Don't underestimate the importance of it, right? Like understanding going to bed consistently, waking up consistently, having control of taking care of your body, your physical health, because you do that, then you can obviously put your best 200% on the field every single day, which is what you need if you want to stay on top of your game in recruiting for the long term. So mental health, burnouts, they will happen. I'm trying my best to kind of make sure they don't happen or have less burnouts each year. And a part of that is making sure you also just have a balanced life outside of work, friends and family, a good support group, be able to understand when you need to recharge instead of going 200 miles an hour every single day. So Ryan, what about you? What are your thoughts when it comes to wellness management in general?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely crucial because I like the analogy you had of if an athlete, we're not a professional athlete in that sense, but we do need to be at our best day in, day out. And so I think not only this slide, but all the slides can really be summed up by taking care of yourself while also taking care of others, with yourself, avoiding burnout and, don't get too high in the highs, don't get too low in the lows, and just be consistent, but also taking care of others, like going back to building those relationships, being transparent, being honest, doing everything you can to build those long-term relationships and provide value to candidates and clients going forward is only going to help you. So do everything you can to make sure you're doing well, you're in tip-top shape, but also doing anything you can to help others along the way. And that just is a win-win combination to bring you that success in the recruiting game long-term.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and you took value. There's of course so many other things that we could talk about. We just want to be cognizant and not make this video super, super long, but I'm happy we're really able to talk about, a lot of tactical stuff, but also just more general stuff for just general well-being, which is it's easy for people to kind of push that aside. Like, hey, I'll just sleep better later. I'll take care of myself later. I just want to embrace burnouts at the maximum now. I get it. When you want to start and you're young or you just have no other responsibilities in life and you can give it your all in business, there is a time and place to just hustle your butt off. And I think that is needed, especially in the beginning, to launch everything with momentum, but you can't do that cadence and you can't do that intensity forever, right? So I'm all about maximizing intensity each workday. Outside of that, what are you doing so that you can keep that consistent? And a lot of that is wellness, whether it's meditation or therapy, or whether it's cold plunging or playing sports or just relaxing with friends, whatever it is, right? Reading a good book at night and just decompressing, right? Whatever it is, make that consistent as well, because that can generally have a huge impact to overall performance. So as always, we love making these videos for you. If you want to see other things about top performing recruiters, or maybe perhaps some of the biggest mistakes that we see a lot of recruiters make, or anything else along those lines, comment down below. We'd love to make more videos. But Ryan, appreciate your time. And thank you guys. And we'll see you on the next one.